Victory Yinka-Banjo was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, and moved to the United States on a student visa in 2021 to attend MIT. She's majoring in course 6-7, or computer science and molecular biology, and she's done undergraduate research with Professor Jonathan Weissman at the Whitehead Institute and Professor Caroline Euler at the Broad Institute. Currently, Victory's preparing for graduate school, where she'll pursue her interest in molecular medicine. And for those of you here who are not involved in this process, I'll mention that the applications to most graduate schools were due Sunday. So between that and this performance, I'm not sure how restful Victory's Thanksgiving break was. Victory excels in science, in computational thinking, and also in the arts. She's involved with the MIT Black Theater Guild and has composed and performed spoken word poetry for MIT student groups and for the celebration of Sally Kornbluth's inauguration. For today's celebration of the life sciences, Victory will present her piece Systems, which will weave together ideas about systems of molecules, disciplines, people, and countries. Please join me in welcoming Victory.
As my words meet your minds and minds meet your hands and your hearts, I need you to zoom out. Adjust the magnification of the lens that you walked into this room viewing the world through, and give me a chance to communicate what I argue is an extended breakthrough. Because if there is one thing that my pending biology degree has shown me, it is that there is power in thinking beyond what exists in our proximity. Now travel with me to a world observable only by electron microscopy, and you will find meaning behind this philosophy. Now, under a microscope, adjusted to its highest magnification, you might see a nucleus, a mitochondrion, a ribosome, individual organelles packed with biological power. But if you dare to zoom out, what you will find is these subcellular components operating in ways far more powerful because together they are parts of a whole, subparts of a cell. In synergy, these organelles, they form a system of whole cell complexity. Now zoom out again, and you'll find that these cells come together as tissue, and tissue together as organs, and organs with systems of blood vessels and fluids and skeletal structure. They create something systematically beautiful and dependent as every human in this room. To see that, you don't need an external lab tool. And accounting for this larger picture, our eyes do more than a microscope's view. See, gone are the days of reductionist biology, of taking pieces apart, considering them individually. We are at MIT, so we build with mind and hand, put pieces together. This collaborative is not just about one part, one subject, just about biology. It is interdisciplinary, and to claim otherwise is to fail to zoom out and look back on our rich history of revolutions, be ignorant of our promising future of expansions, a history of fundamental discovery decorated by the sequencing of the human genome, unleashing a scientific era broader than the Broad Institute, a history of sharp Nobel laureates transforming RNA splicing and medical imaging, a history that birthed HST, solidifying relations from MGH and Harvard Med to MIT, and a future of expansions with breakthrough synergy that advances cell and gene therapy, uses AI to accelerate diagnostics and fight antibiotic resistance, of mechanical engineering building 3D printed hearts that pump life into new treatments, a future of memories governed by McGovern's collaborations with the Picower, an understanding of brains fueled by molecular power. This collaborative is not just about biology. It is a celebration of an institute and industry, identical to a table where everyone can find a seat, a celebration of a system built by parts where everyone finds their niche, whether that's in science and engineering, where you can interface technology and clinical medicine to develop a therapy and design its delivery. But for that therapy to become a patient's reality, we need people who innovate beyond science to overcome policy, understand the nuances of clinical trials and testing. We have to think about the markets governed by a for-profit motive. And so we need economists for investor connecting and for strategized research funding. But we also need entrepreneurs for commercialization advancing and for biotechnology proliferating. And of course, we need physicians to understand the anatomy of the very people impacted by this pipeline of R&D to ensure the final life-changing delivery that brings all of this back to the ordinary people going about everyday life activities. See, all these fields must synergize to go from bench to bedside. But to claim that this collaborative is only about medicine is to ignore the achievable global scales of science, where living systems can power the sustainability of life on Earth as we know it. Enzymes for plastic waste degradation, bacteria for decarbonized food production, global scales that allow us to zoom out of continental borders, considering systems of land bridged by oceans, networks of nations in synergy to tackle global health issues, networks of nations that come together to deliver breakthroughs, like a record-time vaccine for a pandemic that was unforeseen, networks of nations extending from the Americas to the ends of the earth, including Asia, including Europe, including Africa, where I come from. Gone are the days where science just stays within our proximity. To be at MIT is to take our innovations and science to a world that needs it, but also bring the world to a science that needs it, bringing people like me to a campus where they're welcomed. Would you have imagined that a Nigerian-born visa holder would discover at MIT her superpower, that at the crossroads of computation and biology, she would tower, would break glass ceilings and surmount racially discriminatory systems, a woman who 100 years ago would have been a victim, but today is contributing to the advancement of multiple disciplines. To be at MIT is to strive to increase the representation of minority groups, where even when we have declining diversity in admissions, we can hold steadfast to our exemplary all-women president, provost, and chancellor positions and hope the next time we do better. To be at MIT is to contribute to an era of infinite impact. It is to look beyond the microscope, zooming out to embrace the grander scope. To be at MIT is to latch on to hope, so that in spite of a global pandemic, we fight and we cope. We fight with science and policy across clinics, academia, and industry for the betterment of our planet, for our rights, for our health. We fight with might. To be at MIT is to pursue translation for more than just Cambridge, for more than Massachusetts, for more than one nation, for a network of nations, for the globe. It is right here, right now, that we set this foundation and this continuous pace setting. Oh, it goes far beyond differential equations. It will take collective actions today, our minds and our hands, to ensure a future that outlasts us tomorrow. MIT. To be here is a privilege, one that we can pay for. So will you exist as yourself, as an individual cell unnoticed without a microscope? Or Will you become visible by staying connected to the far-reaching life science and health system? Will you zoom